So how do we cash in on this creator gold rush? Lucy, Devin, y'all have done it, right? Y'all are creators, and especially Lucy, right? You've done almost all of it. You know, scale, passes, CEO passes. I read somewhere you were creating an app that was helping people find doctors, right? and all of that. So when you hear the word or phrase creator economy, what comes to mind?
Yeah, what comes to mind is economic empowerment. Like what I basically view creators as nowadays they are entrepreneurs. They've essentially created their own business, and their business is their brand. I've had friends that became creators during the pandemic when they lost their jobs, and now they are making more than they have ever made before. I have friends that are making several million a year being creators. I would say like most creators' salaries that I've seen match those of tech entrepreneurs and like engineers, which is awesome to see.
Yeah. Devin, what's your definition of creator economy?
So I was a creator on Vine, back when Vine was around. And even then, which was like 7 years ago.
Y'all remember Vine?
Yeah, shout out for Vine. Even then, it wasn't really, you couldn't really make a living on Vine. Like you could do sponsored posts, but it wasn't easy to make money in the way that it is today. And so if you look at a super thriving creator economy, you need creative people, which we've had forever. You need a way to get discovered, which is easier than ever. It's exploding. You need distribution, which is easier than ever. And you need the ability to monetize your fame, which, I mean, that's what we're working on at Cameo, but these tools are just exploding.
Yeah. For those who don't know what Cameo is, right? You know, you have a celebrity, you know, that you want to get a message to, go to Cameo, right? I want to get a message from Michael Jordan, so is he on the platform?
We're working on that. We're working on Michael Jordan,
yeah, great. Listen, take me back in that room, man, when you were coming up with the concept of Cameo, right? How did you create?
So we started with an idea to build a platform where you could have any kind of experience with any celebrity for some amount of money. And we started with athletes, and we looked at like, what are all the things you could do with an athlete? If you could pay to email them and get a response, if you could pay to get a voice message from them, a video message for them to come to your daughter's bat mitzvah. And we started with Cassius Marsh, who one of my co-founders was managing as an NFL player. And we sold Cassius Marsh socks. We looked into like, okay, what if you could book him to come to an event, which we pretty quickly figured out logistically was going to be super challenging. And we looked at these video messages, and I had my own fans DMing me, asking me for things like, hey, my sister's a huge fan of yours. Can you send me a video saying, hi, Monica, good luck in school, that kind of thing. And so I was like, I would do this for $5. I was living with Cody Ko at the time, who's a creator. And I was like, would you make videos for your fans for $5? And he was like, yeah. And I had some YouTuber friends as well. And so we tried it with ourselves. I remember we were driving to go skiing. It was like a 5-hour trip. And I responded to a few fans who had DM'd me. And I was like, hey, I coded this website, would love your feedback. I think you could book me for like $3, and Cody was $5. And we got booked maybe like 20 times. And filming the videos was super fun. It was like a very creative experience. We made money. We made like $50 or something. Our fans were freaking out, tagging us on Twitter and stuff like that. And so that was the point we were like, whoa, this is like really, really fun. And we've since expanded to tons of different verticals, like reality stars, athletes, actors. It's super, super diverse.
Over 40,000 people, celebrities on the platform, right?
Yeah, it's exploded.
Wow. I didn't even know there was 40,000 celebrities in the world. That's crazy. Yeah. Lucy, how do you create, right? Because you were all over. Again, we're talking in the back, right? She's been coding since the 2nd grade, right? I mean, impressive stuff, right? My daughter, I have a 9-year-old, in 2nd grade, all she wants to do is play games. I try to get her to code. She don't want to. Maybe you could talk her into it. But how do you create?
Yeah, so I would say I'm a creator myself. I create content. I put a lot of my own life out online. I think I have I would call my following base like super fans because of how transparent I am with everyone. And then I really just try to be the user. So with every single like company app I've done, I make things for myself because I think that there's like billions of people out there. And if you create something that like you really want, there's other people that will use that product. So then after I create something that I want, I try to find people that are very similar to myself and then ask them to use a product and see what they want. Specifically for passes, I'm actually working closely with a lot of friends. So we're building like a Web3 Patreon / like non-adult OnlyFans. And like my friends are these like huge creators with super fans. They have like millions of followers, and I see like how they are monetizing all the other problems with these different platforms and other things they want. So for example, we are building in Web3 because of the interoperability and how they can get more data on their fans. For example, I have like artists who are selling tickets, and they might think that someone's a super fan because they're buying tickets to every single one of their concerts, when really they're reselling it and scalping. And with Web3, you can actually tell like who's actually the end user for going to your event or like going to the concert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, passes, right? We're gonna stay there because
Yeah.
CEO passes. Congratulations. Another venture, right?
Yeah.
And it helps creators with
Yes.
tools, right?
Yeah.
What tools? How are they gonna help?
Yeah, so outside of NFTs, which are interoperable and give them just so much more data, so we are encrypting their emails, our fans' emails, into the NFTs themselves. So not only do they have the wallet addresses, they're able to build an email list. So if we ever disappear as a platform, they're able to take their fans to their platform or just email them directly, which is awesome. It's interoperable. So previously, like you would need to connect to like several different APIs to figure out like, okay, like if you were like a super fan on Patreon, like how do you know like, okay, like this person deserves to be able to go to a meet and greet? Because of interoperability, you can connect to sites like Token Proof, Ticket Fairy, et cetera. There's high-risk credit card processing, and we're eliminating that. So we can charge much lower fees than other platforms, which is awesome. But yeah, like we're enabling one-to-one intimacy as well. So like if you want to talk to your favorite creator, you can tip them like $1 million theoretically, and maybe they'd respond. And I think that there are like even A-list celebrities that like, you know, there's like a Chinese billionaire whose daughter really wants to meet this person, and like they're willing to pay $1 million to like get an artifact of them and then like be able to meet them. And we are actually sorting creators' DMs based off of tip amount, which is fairly interesting. So then they can like go through and within minutes make like thousands of dollars, like in their spare time in an airplane bathroom or something.
Yeah. Cameo, right? How is this going to play out over the next 10 years, right? Because this is a platform, again, it's so interesting. You're taking away my job because I'm used to I talk to athletes and I tell people, right? But now they can go directly to consumer. In this new direct-to-consumer economy, what's next for Cameo?
Yeah, we've focused on direct-to-fan monetization.
Yeah.
The video shout-out product has exploded, and you know one of the things we're working on now is going from 100 million in revenue to $1 billion. But we're also looking at what do people want from the 40,000 plus talent on our platform. We looked at our biggest whale customers, the people spending over 100 grand a year, and we found that a lot of them had non-typical email addresses, so like at Amazon.com instead of like at gmail.com. And we realized that a lot of these people who were spending a ton of money on Cameo were using them for business purposes. And so our fastest growing business line right now is Cameo for Business, which connects businesses with celebrities, usually creating paid ads. So like if an ad that you might want to run on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or something like that, but also delivering in-person experiences, Zoom appearances, that kind of thing. And so really just looking at whether you're a brand, whether you're a super fan, whether you're a gifter, what are the ways that people want to connect with their heroes?
Yeah. In person, I'm definitely down with that, right? Michael Jordan comes to my house. I'm done with that. Yeah. So make that happen.
That's the 11-star experience for sure.
Yeah. There are benefits and there are, you know, some pitfalls in this new creative economy, right? You go to Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. They can blow you up if you have the right content, you create the right thing, right? I want to start with the benefits, right? Lucy, what are the benefits of this new creative economy?
I think that as people become more creators and there are more tools to help with distribution and help people actually like become super fans, people like all these creators are able to actually create their own like again, business out of it. I think that as more tools show more data, you can start learning like, okay, like this is what my fans really enjoy. So, okay, like I'm a like swimsuit influencer, maybe I should create my own swimsuit line, which by the way is like beyond profitable. It's kind of insane how much people are making from these. I think that right now, though, a lot of creators are used to creating free content, or like a lot of their fans are used to consuming free content, and that's not necessarily the best way for them to monetize. I have friends who get the distribution from like TikTok, Twitch, etc., but the ones that do have like do paid exclusive content actually make significantly more from their paid exclusive content than like all their sponsorships, tips, etc. combined on platforms like Twitch.
Yeah. Is there like people, when you think about creating, they want to get paid, right? They want their money, and you just said that it's so free now. How do you get people to subscribe? Because I'm starting to see that now, even on some Instagram pages, like, hey, we got a subscription page. I'm like, all right, why am I subscribing? Just giving it to me for free. How do you get the consumer to pay for something that's been free for so long?
Yeah, so I think you have to figure out what your followers really want. So it could be intimacy. So for us, we really believe that most of the money that creators are going to make are through the DMs, where they get to actually have this like one-to-one ongoing relationship with their creator that could last like several years, right? And maybe they're tipping every single day. I've actually seen this happen with friends, which is awesome. I think it's like selling a very niche content. So being able to understand like, okay, this subset of my fans really likes cosplay. So I'm gonna create like really custom cosplay content for this subset of fans that are willing to pay that like my Instagram fans might not necessarily engage as much with.
Yeah. Devin, the benefits of the creator economy?
I mean, from a consumer perspective, it's a lot more fulfilling to have these super authentic, more targeted, more personalized creators, personalities. So like instead of watching the same TV show that everybody else in the world watches, a lot of these more niche kind of micro influencers, they have a tighter relationship with their fans. So that's a more fulfilling, personalized consumption experience. And then on the creator side, it's a cool world to live in. Like people like creating, right? And so if we can move to a world where millions of people can work for themselves and just be authentically them, it's a better world.
Yeah. Have you guys have Oculus? Have you used it yet? How many people have Oculus in here? Y'all use Oculus yet? Nobody use Oculus? Wow. Okay. Man, I guess the scale's not there for Oculus. I have an Oculus. I've been in there. It is wonderful, right? It's weird because, you know, you got people talking, running around, half their body. One guy was all bent over, and I'm like, okay, what is this, right? But it's so engaging. You know, it really is. Cameo, for me, it's like, it's a perfect fit. What do you see in the metaverse, if that's the metaverse, with the creator economy?
So from a VR perspective, I mean, like, as you mentioned, right? Like, if you're a super fan, there's nothing cooler than meeting them, right?
Yeah.
Like, Michael Jordan in your living room is like the ultimate Apex experience.
Or
So
Rihanna.
with VR,
Or Rihanna, one of them.
yeah, right? And so with VR, you can get pretty close to that, right? Like, there's really cool ways that you can not have to fly Michael Jordan across the country, but you can hang out with Michael Jordan. You can play games with Michael Jordan, which is super fun. You both have fun. But it's an intimate, natural experience. And then for the Web3 side of metaverse, so actually the first half of this year, I focused full-time on Web3. We launched our Genesis project, Cameo Pass. We've launched 3 or 4 projects since then. And what we're doing mostly, Cameo Pass was designed for art community events. So we worked with some of the best artists in the world, and we've hosted something like 7 events across the world for our holders. And so really what we're doing is building things that the community gets excited about. So like events and new projects, great art, and also looking at where is the future of Web3 going and how does core Web2 Cameo fit into that.
Yeah.
So like the obvious example would be, if you buy a Cameo, should you be able to mint it on the blockchain? So there's a ton of examples like this that we've explored, but we really want to find what's going to be true in 10 years versus like what's just hype right now, and how do we fit into that in a really authentic, organic way.
Yeah. And now the pitfalls, right? There are pitfalls. I mean, it's not just about putting content on and making a lot of money. The pitfalls, Lucy, of the creator economy?
Again, I would say that the pitfalls of the creator economy are that fans are just so used to consuming free content that it is hard for, like, I would say even smaller creators to monetize at the moment, right? Like, you have all these sites like YouTube, TikTok, et cetera, where like you get paid based off of views, but like you're not necessarily sure how much you need. I'm seeing a pivot though, where creators, like the smaller ones that aren't doing paid exclusive content, are starting to just get really talented at making videos themselves and doing UGC content, which is how they're able to like make a living off of it. But like transparently right now, it's like maybe 10% of the creators making almost all the money, and everyone else barely making a living. And I think there needs to be a shift. They say that like having 1,000 true fans will monetize significantly better than having like 1 million like fans that are adamant, right? So I think it's figuring out tools such as like Cameo, where you can monetize those 1,000 true fans, but also figuring out the longevity of it. Like, how can you monetize from them monthly, daily, et cetera, versus like a one-off situation, which I believe that like subscriptions are the future. I think that right now it's just hard to monetize off of platforms like Instagram and TikTok because even though they're adding these super follow features, none of their fans are like used to paying.
Right.
Twitch is a little better though, because like there is a community and like a culture of tipping creators and like subscribing to them on sites like Twitch.
Yeah, I'm not on
Yeah.
Twitch yet. I got to get on Twitch though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little tougher though, because you
Yeah.
have to stream like 24/7 or else your viewer count just drops.
Yeah. Devin, pitfalls of the creator economy. Are there any for you?
Well, I think we've seen a couple, both of which are getting resolved in the medium term, I think. So one is burnout, right? Especially on Twitch. We've seen a lot of creators that just like fly too close to the sun. They just get super burned out, just get kind of overwhelmed. And then the second thing, which is very rapidly getting fixed, is taking advantage of creators, right? So like 5 years ago, if you blew up on, let's say like Instagram, you might not see $1 from that, even though you're creating a ton of value for the platform.
Yeah.
And so things like passes and Cameo and Patreon and all these platforms are helping distribute that a lot more evenly.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Web3. There are people that may not know what that is, right? So for the creators out there, maybe in the audience, who want to know what Web3 is and how it's going to help creators, Lucy, what would you tell them?
Yeah, so I would say it really gives you ownership of your fans. So right now, if you blow up on like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and suddenly your account's shut down, you have no way to redirect your fans or reach out to your fans. Web3 is a way where you can actually have ownership. You have their wallet addresses of like the NFTs that exist. Like we are personally encrypting emails into the NFTs that we drop into the wallets. So if we ever disappear, they have complete ownership of their fans still. I would say that you get more data. So let's say I drop an NFT and then I realize that like inside all the wallets of my fans that have the NFT, they're also fans of Kygo. Maybe that means that I should do a collab with Kygo, or maybe they happen to shop at this one like makeup brand a ton. Maybe I should create my own makeup line. I'm learning a ton more information, which is awesome. And then also I just like understand who's actually a super fan versus who's scalping. It's like cutting out the middleman. So like if I start taking payments in crypto, I no longer have to have credit card processing fees. I never have to worry about chargebacks again. There's just a ton of benefits I think are really interesting. Right now, NFTs have a bad rep because a lot of people essentially launch like 10,000 pieces of artwork and then disappeared, like developers afterwards. So the community just spent a bunch of money on art that doesn't really have any utility. And I think we're seeing this shift where people are finally starting to tie NFTs to utility. So like one example is just the Coachella NFTs. Like they launch a set of NFTs that get you like free artist guest passes for life. So to them, it's like to people buying it, it's like, okay, like I'm actually getting something out of it. Yeah. And this is why it's useful. Like I might spend $1 million on this NFT to have free artist guest passes for life. But maybe it'll go up in value. And like when I resell it, I actually have spent a total of $0 or made money and I still had these perks for a little bit. So like what we're doing is we're tying it directly to utility with exclusive digital content. And then a lot of our creators who are like DJs, magicians, et cetera, they're also tying it to in real life events. So it's like, okay, you automatically get a +1 to my shows if you're a super fan.
All right, yeah. We've got about a minute and a half left. I'm gonna use that on the questions right here from people. I know we said, I didn't know we was gonna do Q&A, but get a few of them. And Devin, I want this for you because you mentioned the word burnout, and it says, do you fear that we will quickly approach consumer subscription burnout? I think that's a very good question because everywhere I turn, it's a subscription, and I gotta pay money, and I might forget. I canceled Netflix. Like it didn't hold value for me anymore. Like, and a whole bunch of subscriptions. Are we approaching that? Do you fear we're gonna get to that?
Well, the subscription business model is exploding. I don't see signs of burnout. I've seen companies who are like, hey, like, let's bring transparency to all the subscriptions that you're spending money on. Yeah. Like people lose track of like, oh, I subscribed to this thing 4 years ago and I forgot that I'm still paying. And so we are seeing tools to address this kind of thing, but I think we're still on the upslope, and I don't think we're gonna see the detrimental side that we're seeing on the creator side.
Okay. Right. So you're telling me I got to go back and subscribe to Netflix?
I actually might also unsubscribe. I'm on your page.
Lucy, Devin, thank you so much. And for all of you that are trying to capitalize on the gold rush economy, thank you. Appreciate it.